Whiskey Bravo Zero, Papa Tango Delta.
November 7th, Whiskey Mike.
I believe you gave me a 57, Andrew. You are a 3-3-3x3-33 QSL. I got the 5-7. Thank you. 73s, WB0PTD. What's up, guys? Just doing a little radio work here, and thought I'd make a video of it. Just talked to a guy. His name's Andrew, I guess, and I'll have to look it up on the computer to see exactly where he is. But he's doing a SOTA thing. It's a acronym for Summits on the Air, and what that is guys will climb a mountain, and they'll pack a radio with them and a battery and antenna and all that, and they'll set up a station on top of a summit somewhere, and other guys like me will try to make contact with them and get points, and it's just for fun. You don't get anything out of it, just bragging rights for how many points you get. So that's what that was there, and all we do is exchange dadgummit, I forgot the word for it now. We exchanged signal reports, and I sent him a 3x3, and he sent me a 5x7. And what that means is I sent him a 3x3, so that means his audio was a 3 out of 5 on how well his audio was. And the second 3 in that is what the actual RF signal was that was on my radio, and he was bouncing between a 3 and a 4, but I gave him a 3x3. And he gave me a 5x7, which that is 5 that he gave me is the best audio that you can have, and 7 is a really good RF signal. That means he was a 7 out of 9 on the radio, on the meter. So just wanted to do a little short video here and try to tell you guys about a little bit about ham radio. So let me get the camera readjusted, and I'll show you some of the equipment that I have, and we'll just kind of go from there. So sit tight. Alright, we're back, and I'm not sure how I'm going to make this video. It's probably going to be one of several parts, because there is such a mass variety of ham radio and things to do, and there's so much to learn about. I mean, the handbook for ham radio is like this thick, and it's a big book. So I'm just going to try to go over a few basic things. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, and I'll try to answer them the best that I can. I'm not a teacher by any means, so we'll just try to make a quick video and see how it goes. So, like you guys just saw, I made a contact with a guy named Andrew, and his call sign is Kilo Delta 5 Zulu Zulu Kilo, and that's the call sign that the FCC gave him, I guess. But anyhow, we'll zoom in over here, and sorry about the shaky camera, guys. And I'll show you exactly what I was doing here, maybe. I don't know how well that'll come in, but we'll try it. So here he was, and he's on this particular mountain, which is Withington Mount, and it's in New Mexico. So, and of course, that mountain's good for 10 points. So I got 10 points for making a contact with him, and I'll log that in later. But anyhow, it was on 20 meters, which ham radio, we have lots of different bands that we can use, and For example, this is what we call a band plan right here that I have hanging on the wall. And you can see it'll kind of give you the frequencies, but we were on 20 meters is where I talked to him, which is right there. It's 14 megahertz, and the particular frequency I was on with him was 14,347. So that falls all right in here, about the edge of the band. So, and as you see, there's different letters for different lines and frequencies. I follow under the G because my license is a general class. So the dark shaded area there is what I can work on this line, 14,225 to 14,350, and that's for voice only. I can also work this shaded portion over here from 14,025 to 14,150, but if I work that part of the band, it has to be Morse code only. So, and there is a lot of bands that I can use. You can see that sheet is just full. If you want to look into it more, you can go to the ARRL's website and look at the band plan and kind of do some more research for yourself if you want. But each band, like these off over here to the right, these don't really talk very far. 23 centimeters, I've never worked it because I don't have a radio. Or the 33 centimeters, I've never worked, but those are for real short distances. Maybe like in the town that you live in. 70 centimeters, you can get out a little further, but not real far. The most common band for local traffic is, darn that phone, the woman won't leave me alone, is 2 meters. And I'll show you a radio here in a minute that does 2 meters. Well, it also does 440. But then when you start getting into 6 meters, that's when you can start talking more around the country, within the U.S. As far as I know, well, yeah, there's been a few people that have worked, what they say, worked all states on 6 meters, which that means you've made a contact to somebody in every state in the United States, including Alaska and Hawaii. So that's a really good feat. That's very hard to do. But if you get over to the middle part of this sheet, you can see the frequencies actually get lower, and that's what we call HF, or high frequency. Like I said, guys, I'm not a teacher, so you have to bear with me. 10 meters, this side of the graph, and this one right here, 10 meters, you can use those with a what they call a technician license, and that's like the bottom end of the totem pole. That's like the grunt. That'd be the first license you would get, and your first license, your technician will allow you to work these bands as well as 10 meters. Anything else, you have to have a general license, or an extra, or an advanced. There are a few frequencies over here that a technician can use, but it's Morse code only. So if you want to talk in what they call phone single sideband, then you have to have at least a general license or above. And the licenses go in order from bottom to top: technician, general, and extra. There are a few people that have what they call an advanced license, but the FCC did away with the advanced license. So now it's just technician, general, and extra. Really easy to get your license. You can go to the ARRL website, and there's a link in there that'll tell you where they do testing, There's a lot of places that put on classes. It'll be a weekend class or maybe a 2 weekend class, and then they'll take the test at the end of that. So if you're interested in getting a license, go to that website and you can find where to get a license. So that explains sort of some of the bands. I know it's kind of vague, but there's just so much that it's ridiculous. Well, we can do it like this. 10 meters, that band is really dead right now. It's been dead for the last several years. A lot of your HF bands, believe it or not, has a lot to do with the solar or the sun cycles, the solar flares and whatnot. Depending on what the sun is doing, can really affect how well your signal is in the United States or around the world. And by saying that, 10 meters, when it's open, you can talk around the world sort of easily. When it's at its peak, it's real easy. But this right now, 10 meters is dead. I mean, it's hard to talk across the United States. You get into 15 meters, certain times of the day, you can say you can talk across the pond, as we call it. So that'd be going into another country. 17 meters, I'm not real familiar with. 20 meters, you can talk around the world on just about any given day if you're on the right time of day and depending on band conditions. But 20 meters is probably your best bet during the day to try to talk to another country, in my opinion. Of course, it also depends on what your hardware is and your antennas. 40 meters is a really good I don't know how to explain it. It's a really good band to talk within the United States. I'm only a couple states away from getting a worked all states on 40, and I could have had it several times over, but I just haven't been working on it like I could be. 80 meters and 160 are really good for talking within the United States. They're more of a winter time band because of the storms. If you have a storm, let's say I'm in Kansas, so if there's a storm in Tennessee or Georgia, I can literally hear the lightning crashes on my radio that far away. So during the summer, it's not really good. Wintertime is the best time for these two bands when there aren't so many lightning storms. And I have talked to England a few times on 80 meters, but it's kind of rare. And the same thing goes for 160 meters. Yes, you can talk to other countries, but it's kind of rare. It's hard to do. I mean, technically, you can talk to other countries on any band. It's just a matter of what the band conditions are. So let me readjust the camera here, and I'll show you some radio equipment. Okay, guys, this is one of the radios I have in my shack. I'm going to do a demonstration for you and see if I can't make a contact. If you look, there's two sets of numbers. The one on the left is what they call 2 meters, and it's VHF or very high frequency. The set of numbers on the right, the 443125, that is 70 centimeters, or commonly known as 440, and it is UHF, which is ultra high frequency. These two bands are better than line of sight, but not by much. We use repeaters so that we can talk a lot further, and we'll get into repeaters some other time. The one on the left, the 147-300, that is a repeater frequency, and that belongs to my dad, KB0WTH. That's his repeater, and the frequency on the right, the 443.125, that's my UHF repeater. So we both have repeaters, and like I said, that's a whole nother can of worms. We'll get into that on another video. So, but I'm going to try to make a contact with him, see if he's by the radio. I don't even know if he's around, so we'll give it a shot and see. KB0 WTH WB0 PTD. It may not be around the radio. KB0 WTH from WB0 PTD. Well, he must not be around the radio. Well, that's a bummer. Fail. We'll leave it in there anyways. So, like I said, that's a 2-meter 440, and where he's at is probably 15 miles to the south of me. But we're going through the repeaters, that makes it easier. It's like you're next door to one another. So, yeah, we'll move on to another radio here. And by the way, that's an ICOM 2720. Like I said, it's a dual band radio, VHF, UHF. The microphone, look at that thing, looks like a computer keyboard. So, and that's actually just the faceplate. The actual radio is right there, sitting on top of my power supply. Then it's powered with 12 volts. That's all it takes. I think on high power it puts out 50 watts, I believe. I don't remember. You may be able to hear the fan on the back of it running right now. So, we'll go over here to the big boy. This is an HF radio. That's what I use to talk around the world. Right now it's tuned up to 20 meters. That's the frequency that I was just talking to the guy at the beginning of the video. It's a Kenwood TS120. It's actually a pretty old radio. That one was made in the late 70s, I believe 76, 77, somewhere in there. For its age, it actually has quite a few functions. I don't use everything on it, but mostly I use it for single sideband voice. I have hooked a keyer to it and ran Morse code on it, and it's actually got a really good tone on Morse code. I should do more of it. So, but it has a band selector switch, and we'll kind of go through those real quick. Well, for instance, it also picks up some shortwave if you're on the right frequency, and if you ever need to know the time, you can go to WWV and get the time, and they are out of Fort Collins, Colorado. We'll see if we can pick them up. We should be able to. That's Fort Collins, Colorado. They transmit on 5 megahertz, 10 megahertz. There you go, there's a time change. But they broadcast on 5 megahertz, 10 megahertz, 15 megahertz, and I believe 20 megahertz. So, if you ever need to know the exact time, they say that's the most accurate clock in the world. I don't know. So anyways, that's just shortwave. We'll flip the switch here, and we'll go up to 1.8. From 1.8 to 2 megahertz is the 160 meter band. I doubt we'll hear anything, but we'll try. Nothing. So that's 160. Go up here, and I'm just going to what frequencies I can use with my license. 3.8 to 4 is 80 meters within my privileges. I figured it would be dead. 160 and 80 meters are dead during the day. You don't really hear much. We'll go to 40. 40, I'm sure we'll hear something. 40 is a pretty good band. I can use 7.175 to 7.3 is what my privileges are. There's somebody talking there. I could talk back to him if I wanted to, but I don't really want to in the middle of the video. We can go down here and listen to some Morse code. Maybe. I don't hear any. Anyways, we'll go to 20 meters. This is the band that you can pretty much talk around the world anytime. It seems like to me, anyways. These guys have some pretty good signals.
We will copy everybody pretty well. George up there was weak with a 5.3. Give us taker on him. David, you're 5.9 plus.
Alright, you hear that guy's accent? Pretty sure he's a foreigner.
Well, it sounds like you've got a little bit more of a problem there than we do. Ours is light and fluffy. It's almost like, you know, the consistency of a flower or so. But anyway,
We're just having a little rag chew.
It was nice to hear from you, and good signal reports. Hope my audio is good. I'm running a TS-870 Kenwood with an MC60 microphone into an inverted G5RV antenna.
He's using an M60 microphone, he said. That's what this is. That's an MC60 microphone. Pretty good microphone. See who else we can find over here. $14,300. That's a maritime mobile net. It's on 24 hours a day, and all they do is they talk to people on boats and ships that are maritime, and they give the weather reports on the ocean. Anyways, that's 20 meters. That's a pretty good band if he wants to get on there and talk. Go up here, the frequency's 21. That's 15 meters. 28, that'd be 10 meters. And 29, that's 10 meters also. So, it's kind of vague, I know, and I apologize for that. But I'm hoping to start a series of ham radio. So, if you guys have any questions or there's something you want to know about it, feel free to put it in there. I'll reply the best that I can. Like I said, it's such a mass things that you can do with ham radio. It's unbelievable. Like I said, you can do Morse code, single sideband phone, which we were just listening to. They have PSK and RTTY and packet, and that's all digital kind of computers talking back and forth over the airwaves. I like to refer to it as the very first internet, because that's kind of what it was back in the day, before internet got popular. Slow scan TV, which you can actually broadcast yourself through the airwaves on video, just like we're doing now, but over the airwaves. Just a million things to do. All kinds of clubs you can get involved with. Disaster things that you can get into. Emergency coordinations. Some of the things that I do sometimes is help with like the MS-150. We do their communications instead of the cell phones and stuff. The radio's a lot faster than trying to call somebody on your phone, and this way everybody's listening all at the same time, and it's a lot faster to communicate on something like that. Just a million things to do. So get involved. Like I said, check out that website, the ARRL.org, and get in there and look around. I'm sure there's a testing facility somewhere within your area, and probably a class too. If not, go to your local library and they usually have books that you can study and then go take the test. There's classes online that are free that you can take. And that's another thing. It doesn't cost anything to get your license. It's free. It's through the FCC. You have to be licensed to use these radios. The only cost that there is you usually have to pay a very small fee to take the test, which I don't remember. I think they're probably somewhere around $5 to take the test. But that's it. The rest is buying the radios, and that can get very expensive. Kenwood has a radio out right now that they just released a few months back. That radio is $8,000, and let me tell you, it does everything, including you can hook it to your computer, you can hook it to the internet, you can program it so that all you do is push a button and it automatically repeats your voice. You record your voice on it. You can record Morse code on it. It does all kinds of things. Of course, a lot of radios will do that, but your license is just the tip of the iceberg. It's not a poor man's hobby by any means. It seems to be very expensive, and don't let that discourage you, though. There's a lot of hams out there that will help new hams. Old equipment, for sale. This old Kenwood that I'm using for the HF, I think I picked it up for $200 or $250. I've had several radios over the years. Some of them were closer to $1,000. And a few years ago, I kind of downgraded and started to get out of the hobby, and so I sold a lot of the big radios that I had. But don't let it discourage you. You can get a little handheld radio to talk to people in your area for $50 nowadays, brand new. So it just depends how far you want to go and what you want to do. Of course, you also got to look at antennas. Antennas can be expensive, but you can build your own for just a few dollars. I've built several antennas. The one of the antennas that I have hooked to the HF radio, I actually built for a whole lot cheaper than what I could have bought one for, and I think it works really well. So it's up to you guys what you want to do, but like I said, just leave comments. I know it was a really vague video, but I really don't know how to open it up to anybody to, you know, try to explain it. Everybody asks, well, what's ham radio? And I try to explain, and they're just so, it's such a vast, you know, thing. But any questions you have, I'll definitely try to answer. So, just remember, it's not CB radio. Ham radio operators take offense to that. It is not CB radio. So, anyways, guys, if you got some questions, just leave them in the comments. I'll try to answer them. And like I said, this video is kind of a spur of the moment thing, so it's probably not the best, and I rattled on and on. So, leave me a comment, like the video if you liked it, and you know, if you want to see more, subscribe. So, thanks a lot, guys.